All right, I think we're good there, and go live. Hello, friends. Hopefully we're back on YouTube. Back in creative exploration with Pers. Got with me tonight my special guest, Enigmatic E. You probably already follow him on YouTube, but if you don't, do so. And Instagram and Twitter and all the things are in the description below. But I'm actually going to let E introduce himself because, people are generally better than others. So hit it, buddy. Welcome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you, man, for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, so my name is I go by just Enigmatic E or just E. My real name is Eric. That's where the E comes from. But yeah, I've been doing just kind of image to image AI videos for about 2 years now, since Disco Diffusion came out. Um, I was like I guess I was first exposed to this guy named Remy.
Remy Moulet.
Yeah, yeah,
So good.
him. Yeah, he's so good. He was the first person I saw on Instagram, and that's kind of what got me hooked on it. I was like, how the hell is this guy doing this? Like, it looks so unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I dug deep. I looked in the comments and stuff, and found out about Disco Diffusion and stuff. So that's kind of what my AI journey started. But before that, I was doing videography for like for like just corporate gigs and doing weddings, editing, shooting them, um, also motion graphics. So a lot of different visual mediums. And so for me, it just kind of made sense to kind of jump onto the whole AI thing because I was already doing so many different things, and I just wanted to add something to that skill set.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I like the most about your work is that you create with a great sense of intention. Like, it doesn't feel like just a bunch of stuff edited together, like stuff that you just made and then edited together to form a narrative, which is sort of the way I approach things, where your stuff has like, you have a vision in mind when you start, you make stuff, and then you build a world and do the thing. And like, I really respect that. I think it's really cool. And I think a lot of AI artists can learn a lot from that sort of intentionality. Starting with a concept and really seeing it all the way through. So yeah, I was just hoping maybe you would talk about sort of your process when you have an idea and what takes it from just like a nugget of an idea to something where you're like, oh, I think I can figure out a path to do this, like through, X set of tools or whatever.
Yeah. I think just having the experience of just knowing like the AI's like the limitations of the tools that we have access to right now, and just kind of like looking around just in my environment. I'm sure a lot of people do this themselves as well. Um, and just thinking of like, okay, what could be a cool concept? What can I I've done a few videos where it's like a portal, right? Like, oh, you open a portal, and through that portal, you'll see like this whole world, and it's generated through AI and stuff, um, or like transforming somebody into something else. And um, yeah, I just try to look at the world and see how can I implement this into AI, or just like looking at videos online and just thinking of like, okay, this video is super interesting. Like the last one I did with the Power Rangers, I was watching those dancers, and right away I thought like, oh, they look like almost like superheroes or something, the way they were like coming out like from behind the guy. Um, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did this Power Rangers animation, and you can find it on my socials.
Yeah, it's on. If you click E's Instagram in the description below, it's like the latest video, I think. And yeah, you got to watch it.
Yeah.
It's insane. The dancers too. The dance crew just killed it as well. The input footage was incredible. But yeah, you really took it to the next level, I thought.
Yeah, and yeah, when I was watching that, I just thought right away, okay, those are that reminds me of like some kind of superheroes just kind of coming out, and um And so like right away I thought, okay, there's 5 people there, so what like can it be like the Justice League or something or somebody, like, and I just thought, okay, the Power Rangers. I grew up with the Power Rangers, so for
Mm.
me it was kind of like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Um but yeah, I think just trying to just to look, and then also like with that one, I didn't know if it was going to even be possible. Like sometimes you just kind of just try it, like even though like I don't know if I can pull this off, but let me just try it. Let me test a few things, and if it looks like it's going to work out, then I'll invest the time to try to like complete the vision.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, knowing, like, I think experience just playing around with Comfy or just whatever tools you're using, just playing around with it enough to where you know how far you can push it, and sometimes it'll surprise you how far just by trying things. Just see, okay, how far, like, will this work? And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, if you have enough experience, you kind of your gut feeling will steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, that's really cool because like yeah, a lot of us see input footage, we have an idea, but actually taking it and separating out all the different Power Rangers and masking them all out and
Right.
it's just it's a step beyond I think what most people would have done. So it's really cool to see that like attention to detail and that kind of thing because like unfortunately I feel like that's sorely missing a little bit in the AI world when we can generate things so quickly. It's almost like, oh, this is great, I'm done, and it's like, nah, you can keep going, you can keep pushing it. Yeah, that's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
I think the reason behind that is because I think it really, the whole AI space, when it comes to like the visual part of it, um, it draws different crowds. It draws the people that have like different backgrounds. Like some have like backgrounds in editing, like JBoogs,
Hmm.
or people like, I think Gertie has like I mean, these are like the like big AI artists that people know.
Yeah.
Like Gertie, I think he has done design or something like that before.
Oh yeah,
And then there
yeah.
are people who are just more like who are into coding or just like to um, try to see how they can push AI without having to touch um, an editing software.
Yeah.
I know like Phil, like he does like a lot of filters, a lot of things that you would normally do in yeah, in Premiere, and he's always trying to push it in that direction. And so it's really interesting because even I didn't even know what a depth map was before
Mm.
I started working with AI. But now I know a lot more. I've worked with Blender because I've got interested in AI. So it really is, and it's making people who have never touched an editing software like start learning about like DaVinci, because it's like the free version. It's the free one out there,
Yeah.
and it's just like now it's like it is kind of merging a lot of different uh, you know people with different experiences and backgrounds, which is
Hmm.
kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm always blown away by how people approach problems and like especially with the community we've been hanging out with lately, they just sort of like steamroll their way to a solution, and it's very inspiring. I think we can all learn a lot from each other just watching each other's videos and just trying to dissect how we did it before we ask. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
sometimes you think you got it and they did it a completely different way, and it's enlightening.
Hmm.
We'll see how people have done it, and I there's also old tools that it might come back sometime soon, like EB Synth. I feel like could probably take another victory lap because like that's a great way to like style transfer and like make
Yeah.
a frame and then do an animation and stitch that section together and then so like yeah, I don't know, man. The future's bright for all these tools as long as everything kind of stays open.
Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing that people worry about. Like, how open will it continue to be? Like, I mean, there's always going to be a community that's working on the open source stuff, but
Hmm.
I guess it's like, will like the big companies kind of like outpace the community, to the point where it's like, oh, okay, well, they're doing way cooler stuff, I guess. But I think there are always going to be like a core community, and I think there's going to be the general crowd that just kind of follows whatever it is that's the hype at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But everyone's like the tools you use don't really have any bearing on the artiness of what you're working on, right? Like if you're having fun and you're making stuff that you like, then you're using the right tools as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like there seems to be a lot of like camping happening now. Like people are like picking sides and stuff for all these tools. And yeah, I know this being able to navigate all these tools like a fish is like, I don't know, it's more fun. I don't know why you would get so supremacist about certain techniques, because these techniques they only last 6 to 10 months, and then they just something else comes along and you have to adapt. So yeah, I think people just the adaptabilities is so important in this too. And that's what you're saying, like, going from AI to Blender to Premiere to just back and forth. Just not having those barriers makes you a lot more versatile, I think, when you're trying to make something. Because if you have an idea, you can just push it into that space. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought today I would just talk about stuff like processing input footage right in Comfy, like how to take a mask and like take a person and mask them out and then put them on another background or something like inside Comfy. Because I feel like that's something that it's hard to do in Resolve. Like it's hard to do compositing unless you know Fusion and what masks are and how they do and how to make the masks and stuff. So I thought it would be fun to grab some input footage of like a dancer and then like BiRefNet out the person and then start putting them in on different footage or making IP adapter backgrounds and things like that. So we could really deep dive in just literal mask compositing in Comfy, because like, I've touched on it a couple times as a part of workflows that I've gone through, but I think it's a really important tool when you're processing stuff, because having access to the layers of things opens up, a million different options for making stuff. So I guess I'll just get started.
Yep.
Add a load. Now, do you do your masking in After Effects, or do you do it here in Comfy when you're like masking people out and stuff?
I do like mostly I do in After Effects, because it's because I have it, and it's just for me it's just easy to do it that way. But I do also have workflows where I do like the auto like subject detection kind of thing, where like it masks like a person. So I have that too, and I use that when I really don't feel like going into, and if it's something super simple, then I won't go into After Effects. I'll just use the workflow, the auto mask workflow.
Right on.
What do you use, Coco, or what do you use, Coco segmentation or not?
I actually just use BiRefNet.
Okay.
Have you used BiRefNet?
I don't think so.
It's pretty cool. So we got this guy here, right? Just doing his thing. But we can use this
with that dancing guy, right?
Yes. So this is I use this guy all the time. I love this clip. It's awesome. Because like when I'm testing stuff, I like to use the same thing. So I know what it's doing. I think that's important too, because like later you can play with stuff, but getting a baseline for anything we're doing in this stuff is so important. I think a lot of people skip that and just start changing 5 things every time they hit Q, and it's like you don't really know what anything's doing. So for this, we just load up a BiRefNet node, and that's in the BiRefNet ZHO. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's in the manager, custom nodes manager, BiRef. I like this one, the ZHO. The other one requires you to convert everything from a batch to a list and a list to a batch and back and forth before you use it. So they might have fixed that, but I don't know. This one seems to be better for me. So yeah, BiRefNet. So you need the BiRefNet node and the model loader. The models are on the GitHub. So you go to manager, go to custom nodes manager, and then do that thing, BiRefNet. Click on this little link here, the ComfyUI BiRefNet Zo, and it'll bring you to the GitHub. And the models are here. I know it's Chinese, but you can translate it to English. And what you're looking for is download all 6 node models in BiRefNet to this. So you click this link, and I'll just drop this link in the chat because it's kind of hard to find. Oh, actually, I can't drop it in the chat from this computer. But yeah, anyway, you need all of these path files that you see here. And they all go into your models folder under the BiRefNet folder. So models, BiRefNet, wherever you put your models, they go into BiRefNet. Drop those in, you're good to go. Hopefully he'll add an auto downloader at some point. But yeah, this basically gives you Adobe's Roto Brush in Comfy, and it's fast. So let's have a look at the mask that it creates. We're going to go mask to image, and then we're going to use a VHS combine node to preview the mask that we just made. 24 frames per second, MP4, lower CRF, and turn save output off because we don't want to keep it. So this is going to jump 96 frames out of this video. It's going to skip 240 frames into the video, yank out 96 frames, and convert it into a mask that we can use for stuff. So let's run it. Let's see what it does.
Does it do like a really good job at it? Like,
I'm absolutely blown away by it. Yeah, absolutely blown away.
Because I've done some where, like, for example, I've done one with like a guy who's wearing a tie, and then it won't mask like the tie for some reason, just the other parts of the body. But
oh yeah, and that's with segs, like Sam or YOLO or anything. Yeah. I find those ones are very finicky. They're great for finding stuff that isn't exactly the person, right? But this, I don't know, it gets the person, it gets the subject of the video very, very well.
Nice. I'm gonna have to try that one.
Looks like it's working. And by fast, I mean it's a hell of a lot faster than using After Effects. And it's a lot freer too.
Yeah, too.
But yeah, I mean, come on.
Nice.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it would have taken me like a few more minutes in After Effects for sure.
Yeah, you get a nice, good, hard cut outline, which is, what you need to process stuff. So now we have an outline of the person. So before we even start diffusing, you can take this person and put them in a different place. You can do anything because we have the mask. So there's 2 separate areas, right? We'll just break this down super simply. But like the only way Comfy can understand layers is if you feed it a black and white mask of what you want to happen. And you have to think about those layers in order. Right now, the black part is our background. The person is our foreground. So if we wanted to take the person and put them on something else, we would have to replace the background and put the person on and use the mask to paint them back in. So as an example, let's add a image composite masked node. Yeah. So this node comes with Comfy, and it's for doing what I'm talking about. We're going to take our mask and plug that into mask. Our friend here is going to be the source. That's the thing that we're putting in. And the destination is the background. So I'll just like add an image, I guess. Yeah, we'll do this. I'll resize the image to make sure that's the other thing. Everything needs to be the same size. So let's do that now. Let's resize everything to be the same. So we're going to add a primitive integer. And we're going to add 2 of those. These are the Chris tools. There's a million different primitive nodes, but I like these ones. And we're going to say 512 by 512. So that's our resolution. So we can set it in a million different places. And now we're going to add image scale to the output of the video. Feed that into here, back to our BiRefNet node and to our... Nope, that's it. That's fine. And this one, we're also going to need one of these. So we're just resizing and cropping all of our videos so that everything's the same size, because when we stitch it all together, it'll error out if something is wider or, taller than the other thing. So let's do video combine out. And then this just image combine out into a 24 frame per second video. That's fine. And now the reason I made these is because I don't want to set this in every single node I need to set it in. So I'm going to convert their inputs into convert width and height into inputs with these little right click, convert widget width, widget height. So now they're inputs, so I can plug width into both and height into both. So now when I want to change the width and height of the project, I can just change it right here in the master settings. Ooh, and it's going to resize and crop everything to that size. And one more thing we need to do is, this animation is 96 frames. This is one picture. So when I run it, it's going to say, oh, the tensor doesn't match. It's 1 versus 96. That's because you need to repeat the image over and over again for the background. So in order to do that, we just add a repeat image batch in between. And luckily, our video load nodes have a frame count out, so we can actually use this as the amount. So we'll have to change this into an input. But the idea is, however many frames you load in your video, this is going to repeat the background image over and over again. So if I run this, it should mask out our friend. It should make the mask, and then it should take our friend from here. I think I took it from here. No, I took him from... I should have taken him from here. I've made a terrible mistake. Source. Okay. I forgot to add the new upscaled, or downscaled in this case, to the mask. This is the only hard part about Comfy, is where all the masks have to be the same size. You know, like, it'll just hard error out on you if you don't do the math properly. But yeah, I mean,
there you go.
There you go. So, you know, if you had a video, you could replace that instead of the, you know, the background. But I mean, you can do compositing right in Comfy, and it's pretty slick. And like, these edges are pretty good, but you can also add, you know, like a blur around the mask. Yeah. So we could add that, here. Grow mask with blur. And yeah, there's a lot of settings in this node, so this is one to play with. But if you find your masks are too like pixely on the edges and stuff like that, you can use this to feather them into the background. And this helps a lot when you're doing stuff like in painting or dreaming with these masks. Like when you're using IPAdapter, it's kind of nice to feather out the edges and stuff to make them bleed into the other masks and stuff like that. And you could just do that by, you know, expanding it a little bit and playing with these settings. So if we like expand this by 5, hopefully it won't have to make the thing again. But yeah, see how our mask has gotten a little fatter and chunkier? So when we run this through... Oh, we didn't pop it out. So we'll put the mask out into our image composite. So now we should get some of the original video around our little guy. So you can see the mask is actually making the area around him bigger. So that you can use that to make sure the edges aren't too sharp or missing pieces and stuff like that. You know, if you go too big, you get like huge chunks. But it can also be a very interesting effect too. So, you know, all this stuff is fun. And then all this taper stuff, tapered corners, flipped input, expand rate, blur radius. Like if you increase the blur radius, you see how it's blurry now? So it actually, the edges aren't hard anymore. They're kind of soft. So you could use that at like even 2, blur radius of 2. And that'll just soften those edges around the mask. You might not actually need it though. I mean, this one looked pretty damn good tight. So this is all situational stuff. But yeah, that's the basic like masking workflow that you can start applying to things. And then the cool thing is there's other masks in Blender, like create shape mask. So if I need a foreground and a background or a floor and a ceiling behind them, it's actually really easy to do. You just grab this shape mask node, you make it a square. This is with the KJ nodes pack. Frames, you can guess that's the frame count. So we're going to change that to an input. And our frame width and height, we can also change to an input because we have those values. So we're going to take our frame count into frames, our primitive integers, which is our width and height. I'll rename those. Width. Title. Height. All right. So our shape mask here at 256 by 256, which is the center of 512 by 512, it's going to create a square that is 128 pixels by 128 pixels wide with these current settings. So what I actually want to do is make the width match the thing and make the height pretty big. And what I'm going to do is push that location Y down a bit. And what that's going to do is going to create a mask towards the bottom that's a square filling the whole space. And the point of that is to make a floor and a ceiling. So let's do mask preview. You can see what I'm talking about. Hopefully I did it right. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So let's actually try moving this down. No, that's up. Let's try moving it down. Just play with the settings. Once we figure out the right values. The idea is I'm moving this square up and down and I'm trying to make it so that, yeah, that's kind of good. You could even go like 550, 560. This is all dependent on your main resolution. But yeah, so now I have a floor and a background, right? So for our friend here to mask them, we can say we have these two masks here and this one. So we need to combine all this stuff. This is, so let's say, we'll think about this for a second. We got a preview and another preview. So we've got a mask and a mask inverted. So again, as far as Comfy understands, masks are on and off. So this mask will be the ground and this mask will be the background, no matter what. All we have to do is composite our other mask on top. The problem with this is all those three masks are the same color. So how do we deal with that in Comfy, right? We want to actually have three separate contexts. So we need to start changing the colors of the masks. And then later, when we've done doing all that stuff, we can make a new mask by grabbing those colors out of the mask that we've put together. So it's just like a layered cake of masks. But the idea then being you can have a blue dancer on a red floor with a green background. So now I've got three different masks and everything's cut out of those masks in the right way. The person is cut out of the background and the floor, the floor, it's all magical. So in order to do that, we need to combine these masks with an image blank. And an image blank is just a node that makes a frame of any color you want. So we make a red frame, multiply it into the mask, and then all of a sudden you have a red mask. Green image blank into a mask, turn that mask green. Blue one, turn the dancer mask green. Combine those three masks on top of each other, and then extract them out afterwards. This is essentially the way that I do the subject masking for IPAdapter stuff, but it'll go, this will give you the ability to do anything later because you could put 3 different videos in those places. You could put whatever you like anywhere. Just, yeah, don't get stuck on the simple thing we're doing here today. This stuff can push. All right, so let's try it. This workflow already looks schizophrenic. Let's kind of move all this stuff up here. So we're gonna get rid of this because I don't need this, 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 this. Yeah, let's go back to beginning. We've got our width and height, our video. The video is being resized. It's going into BiRefNet. BiRefNet is making a mask, and then we have the mask in image form, and this is our other mask, our foreground and background mask. So what do? Well, we take our mask and we convert it to an image. So now our mask is an image, and we need an image blank. And this is in the WAS node suite. Highly recommend it. It's got a lot of image filter nodes in it. Yeah, WAS node suite. Grab that. It's a good one. Install it, restart Comfy, come back, drop an image blank node. Image blank node has the same problem that images have. You need to repeat it over and over again for it to fill up the space, because we have a dancer. The dancer's moving. The dancer's moving for 96 frames, so we need 96 of these images. So the just bang this in your head. The way to do this is to add a repeat image batch. Well, this will just repeat an image as many times as you tell it to. So again, you convert the amount input to an input and plug the frame count in from your video. So now it's going to make 96 512 by 512 white frames. We don't want that. We want 96 512 by 512 red frames. Also with the image blank, you can convert width and height. Whoops. Width and height. And then plug in your thing from here. Width and height. And yes, so we have a red one and it's repeating. And we need a image blend node. Nope. In blend image node? No. Image blend. It's all one word, image blend. So we need a multiply. This one lets you select your blend mode. So we need a multiply, and we're going to go 100% strength multiply. We're going to take our red image and our mask. We're going to combine them. Actually, we're going to combine the repeated image batch because, you know, I said to and then forgot. Okay, so image blend, and then we do a VHS combine out because this is now a video. 24 frames per second, MP4, save output. Now this should just be a red, just a red mask on the ground that doesn't move. Hey, because it's a video, but there's nothing happening. So it's just repeating and not doing anything. But now we have the red. So we can repeat this process every time we need a mask color. So same deal. We'll grab all these nodes, copy, Control V, Control Shift V to paste. We'll actually paste them with their connections. Super, super, super handy for duplicating stuff like this. We're going to need another convert mask to image node because we're actually going to get the mask inverted for this one. This image goes into our image 1, I believe, or image 2. Yeah, image 2. Masked image, image 2, multiplying green this time, 255. So red is obviously 255 all the way to red. Green is 255 green. Blue is 255 blue. You can get any color combination by doing their hex, 256 numbers, mixing colors, all that stuff. So yeah, boop. Now we have a green background. We need a blue dancer. So what do? Well, the process is strikingly similar. Copy, Control Shift Paste. And we need our mask from our dancer, which is BiRefNet mask here. We don't need this node because it already exists. So we can grab our one here. Put it into the blend node. No, 2. 1 is the image color. 2 is the thing we're doing. Red, green, blue. So this should put a blue dancer on a black background. So now we have a floor, a background, and a person. We need to smash them together so we can use that image composite mask node that we used before. Image composite masked. And
you should be able to do this with as many subjects as you want, right?
Yeah, because IPAdapters, you can tell it to look at, I'll show you after, but you can extract any color from any mask. So you can put the whole mask together and then just extract the colors and jam them into the attention mask ports on each IP adapter nodes. So you're just telling it to do different things in each context, which is incredibly powerful. Yeah.
So you can have like a floor, a background, like 5 dancers all at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah, if you're 5 dancers, if you had masks for everybody and they all like, if you composited it so like when they cross the ones in front of the other, it would come out perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so we have these. So we need to do a little bit of extra compositing here because we need to put these together and then put this on top. So we need image blend. No, image blend, all one word. Love it. Okay, so the reason I'm laughing is because there's 2 nodes, image space blend and image blend, all one word. And the image space blend node is only one type of image blend, and the other one lets you pick. So our blend factor, we're going to put to 1 and make it normal because we're just smashing these 2 images together, or these 2 videos together in this case. And that will be our blend out from 1 and our blend out from 2. And this should make, you guessed it, a red background and a green top. Ideally, if I did it right. Who knows? Let's see. Nope, I screwed it up. Let's try a screen. I think it's because yeah. So the reason that happened is because I put one image right on top of the other and it has a black part. What I've done now is I've screened them, which means it's just putting one image on the background and then layering the other image on top. So learn your blend modes. Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects, Blender, everything on earth uses blend modes. Compositing is blend modes. Learn blend modes. I still don't know them, but learn them. Don't be me. Okay, so we got our background, and now we're gonna, yeah, try them. So yeah, now we need to just blend this together, right, with our friend here. We're gonna screen him the same, and hopefully, after this final node here, we should have our little dancer on our background. Oh no, what have I done? Yeah, is it normal? Normal doesn't work either. Oh, I think I know I know what the problem is. We need to use this node that we were using before, the image composite masked, because we need to put them on with the mask. This here is our destination. Our source is the blue guy, image blend, and the mask is the blue guy, our mask, which comes from BiRefNet, which is here. If you're wondering how I'm moving the screen while holding something, it's because you can use spacebar while you're holding something to move it across the screen. I only recently learned this, and it is an absolute game changer. When you grab something from way over here and you go, oh, you know, that has to go further, and then you let go and you scroll out and you try to like, no.
I always do like a reroute.
Yeah, the reroute drop. Yep, that works too. You just drop a reroute and then move it over. Yeah, but no, you basically you just grab the noodle at any resolution and hold down spacebar, then let go. Hold down spacebar, move your mouse, let go, and you can zoom around your project and plug stuff in. These little things save you like so much time. Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So we have this now, and this is what we need for IP adapters. So there's a really cool node that comes from ComfyUI Essentials by Cubic, the person who does the IP adapter nodes. And it's called Mask From RGB CMY BW. Red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white. So we plug an image in and you get different masks for each color in that image. We chose primary colors because they're easy to pull out. These thresholds here allow you to say, well, this isn't really red, so I need to increase what it thinks red is to get that red mask. So if you pop out some masks and it doesn't understand the colors, increase the thresholds here until it sees the masks. But when you're doing this stuff in Comfy, they should be like exactly the right values. You won't have to worry about that. But sometimes if you export stuff from Blender or After Effects in the wrong color mode or a color space, they won't be the exact colors that you asked for when you pull them into Comfy. So that's what these thresholds are for. But yeah, the idea is you take this, plug it in here, and now I've got different masks for each one. So I'm going to do my red mask. Let's do convert mask to image and turn them into videos here. So they will all play together. Red, green, and blue. All right, and we need VHS combine nodes. Video combine. Should I just use these? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now we get perfect masks for doing IPAdapter because the person is cut out of the thing where they're not supposed to be. IPAdapter knows exactly where to look for each thing. And then you can use this same concept when you're compositing videos together as well. If you're getting layering, things are happening, something's double happening on a layer, you can rip stuff out by making sure the layers are correct, compositing it, and then grabbing those masks after. So it gives you options. Like here I have all 3 masks in their original format. I can do whatever I want with those. But I also have these cool ripped apart versions of the mask that I can feed into other things that need more direction. So yeah, this is a really cool way to start expanding your workflows with IP adapters and ControlNet and, you know, anything else. Yeah, masking. So yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Your Scooby-Doo animation, man.
Oh,
Tell us about that. I'm gonna pull that up real quick on Twitter while you talk about it, because it is super cool.
yeah. So, yeah. I mean, as many of you already know, like with AI, there's like different ways to do things. So there's like different ways, or I guess different um things that you're trying to accomplish through it, right? If you're trying to just transform somebody into something like, you know, a guy into like Spider-Man, for example, you can pretty much keep the shape of that person just the way they are. And, you know, in Comfy, you can change that style of how they look, right? But then if you want something a little bit more drastic, then like the whatever input you put into it, it's really gonna affect the output, because especially if you're using like ControlNets and yeah, it's gonna try to keep the shape of that person. So the method I used here, and the reason why you can see like that video is the person is my wife, and sometimes she'll transform into like like right there, she transformed into He-Man, who's very muscular, right? And that wouldn't normally work if I just use like ControlNets, but in this case I used Viggle, which is basically like a you insert an image with the vid, and then you give it a video, and then it will animate the video and use that image as a reference. And the quality is not that good when you just look at it, when it just spits it out. But when you run it through Comfy, yeah, it really allows you to clean it up and make it look a lot nicer. And that's kind of how I accomplished this. Was like a combination of Viggle and ComfyUI, and obviously compositing with like After Effects, you know, putting the backgrounds and stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much how I accomplished that. I mean, I learned this workflow from AI Warper, but I kind of stuck with it a little bit longer than he did, and just try to see what else I can do with it. And yeah, I was able to do some really cool things like this.
Yeah, it's so immersive and cool. Like, yeah, just blown away by that. And then like you got the little process video here too, which is really great.
Yeah,
you know how that all
what's
works.
really cool is like it doesn't have to be like, you can put like, for example, I did a video of this guy who has short hair walking, and then I put like an image of the Joker, and then suddenly when he turns his head, even though the person technically doesn't have any hair like at back of his head, it's like it still puts that hair there. And I think that's the really cool thing about it. Like it transforms it enough to where now you can run it to Comfy, and it, you know,
I mean, the
it gives
results you
really
got, out of Comfy are just wildly coherent. Like,
yeah.
I'm absolutely blown away by that, because you know the Comfy drift, the ADIF drift, man. Like it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, these came out just absolutely stellar, I think. And yeah, here's the Power Rangers video if you guys missed it, or if you haven't looked at it yet. I'm going to just quickly make it big and do this so that I don't get demonetized. All right, there we go.
Yeah. Turn off the music.
But yeah, look at this. I mean, come on. And is this did you use Viggle for this too, or did you use this all comfy?
Well,
Oh, nice.
that's what really allows it to, like, when he turns that, when they're turning their head, or when he completely walks away and you can see the back of his head and the back, it really keeps a lot of those like details, even though it's just like using one image, like it keeps a lot of that detail intact, which is really interesting. Um, like if you like, even if you pay attention, like look at the gun thing on the side of on the hip,
Mm-hmm.
it adds that because
Yeah.
of the image, and it's crazy, like, and it stays there like all
Yeah.
the time, and like this, like when this, like the sword that he has on the side too, it just kind of, when he turns, like it turns with him, which is, that's really wild.
Oh, it's absolutely
Obviously,
so cool. And also, like seeing it without the music does not do it justice. Like, watch this, crank up the tunes because the movements and everything. Like, oh, it is insane.
yeah.
Yeah, this is so cool, man. Whoops. Oh, demonetized. We'll see if that. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. And yeah, you also made the Naruto animation that everyone was going crazy over as well.
Yeah,
Me,
that one I did with oh yeah, it shows it right there. I used Luma, the Genie, like 3D text to 3D feature that they have.
mhm.
And I just pieced together like different body parts, because when you try to do the full body, it doesn't give you like a lot of details on the face and on the hands. So when I put them all together, I use that as like, yeah, as an input, so that I can run it through Comfy and pretty much just make things that don't look so nice like a lot nicer. Like, and
Yeah.
I really think that's where Comfy shines, at least with the stuff that I like to do.
Yeah, like you get that block out, 60% of the way there, and then you can really just refine.
Yeah.
You got to, once you get the building blocks and the block out and everything, you're pretty much off the races. Because like, you're right. Like this looks cool, but that what you did with it looks like pro.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's awesome. I love that. I love that you even dream the background in Comfy too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, the 3D tools, that's the other thing that is really interesting about what you said there. Is those 3D tools, you don't have to think of them as 3D only tools. You can think of them as storyboarding tools like this, where you're just making assets and then refining the assets. So if something comes out and you're like, "Oh, this doesn't look amazing out of the gate," just take a page out of E's book here and start massaging it,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's super cool. Super, super, super cool. Yeah, these are great.
Yeah, that one I did with another 3D artist. He just pretty much animated this, and he said, "Hey, can you do something with this with AI?" And I was like, "Bro, like your animation looks great without it." But
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
"No, but like he was like, no, but I feel like you can stylize it somehow." And when I did it for him, he was just like blown away. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that! Like with AI, that's crazy."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I typically try to do things that's a little bit outside of like if I'm going to use a 3D assets, it has to like transform it enough to
Yeah.
where I feel like, okay, then it's worth using Comfy for that. But if it's just going to just kind of make it a little bit different, a little bit like more anime-ish, then I rather not do it. But yeah,
I
I mean, this
love
one I thought came out cool.
the camera overlay really sells it, man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it looks like he just picked up a cell phone. Yeah, it's so good. And I mean, we got to talk about this.
Ah. Yeah, that one's a
This
little bit more
killed me,
traditional.
dude. This killed me. I saw this. I think I
Yeah.
saw this on Instagram first, and
Uh-huh.
oh my god, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
come
that's
on.
the whole Kendrick and Drake thing. Yeah, and I animated like a Pokemon battle
Yeah,
between them.
dude. I loved it. Oh, I loved it. So, what was
Yeah.
your process for this? Was this mostly traditional, or did you like dream a lot of this stuff and then put it together later?
No, this one was all traditional. It was
Or? Oh, cool,
just
cool.
uh, in photo and yeah, in Photoshop, just using pixels and yeah, like it was all traditional. I haven't really messed around too much with creating like pixel art with AI. Have you?
Yes. It's not great at doing it right out of the box, but it is great if you post process it with good pixelating post processing tools. So yes, it doesn't
Mm.
make exactly pixel art, but you can get most of the way there, and then post process your way the rest of the way there. But it won't look correct necessarily. But you can make stuff in that vibe absolutely that has uniform pixel size, which I think is the biggest giveaway for me. AI's pixel art is the fact that the pixels are all different sizes.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
that's the biggest giveaway, right?
it's just like, oh, okay.
And some
Yeah.
are not like they're not completely they're not completely square. They're like some of them are a little bit curved, and that just like okay, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
But
No, exactly.
yeah,
No, that's great. But yeah, I mean, there's some actually really good pixel art Lauras and some really cool stuff. But yeah, I find you have to sort of overlay that grid on top of it and chop it up to make it look like a screen. And actually, Phil Machine Delusions has a really good plugin for that called Pixelator, I think.
oh yeah, yeah,
It's really
that's
good.
that. I love that one, man.
Yeah, it
It's so
makes really
cool.
good. Actually, Phil's. I mean, all those nodes are great. We actually deep dove on them 2 weeks
So
last week. Yeah, it was really cool. Went into all the different nodes and what they do, and yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about. Like, we haven't even touched diffusion here, and we've already got this much
yeah,
stuff going on in the project. But like, you don't need to just think of ComfyUI as just a diffusion engine. It's a fully fledged compositing system that can handle these tasks. It's just, it once you get done doing all the duplication and the other stuff, these workflows look really crazy, but really all you're doing is taking this, masking it out, and placing it on different layers. And if you were to do this in, Premiere and stuff, you might be able to get away with just doing it on a couple of layers and pressing the right buttons and stuff. But with Comfy, you have absolute control over every aspect of this. If I don't want this to be green anymore, it's very easy to change it to a different color. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, yeah, compositing in Comfy and all the like WAS image tools. Like, after you do your generations, you can build entire like filter galleries. So if you're doing images, like, make an image and then make a whole bunch of different image filters that all branch out in different directions. And then when you hit the button, it'll go do all that stuff after it's on the image. And you don't have to save all that stuff, but you can then look at all those potential generations you made and save the ones you like. So, like, there's a bunch of really cool stuff you can do in Comfy outside of just diffusion itself. But then today I also wanted to talk about video to video, which is like, how do I take this now that I have this and make a diffused animation out of it? Um, for me, I would probably use these three with my IP adapters on 3 different layers. And then I would use this video to generate depth maps and line art and things like that, and do ControlNet with it. Do you do that a lot in Comfy, or are you doing a lot of outside stuff and bringing it into Comfy and diffing over it more
I
broadly?
mainly yeah, I mainly just try to like yeah, you use masking inside of like in After Effects,
Hmm.
and then just add a back like and do the all the animation part um from the subject in Comfy, and then bring that into like um After Effects, and then I try to generate backgrounds using whatever like whatever I feel like is the best thing for whatever thing I'm doing. Um and yeah, and just yeah, composite everything in After Effects.
Right on.
Um
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah.
you get that level of control in After Effects. It is, uh, yeah. you get the other thing that's really nice about doing that in After Effects is you can hit play and you have a running timeline, whereas in Comfy you're just sort of like you're doing an entire operation and then seeing what it looks like, which is not ideal.
Isn't somebody working on like a timeline for Comfy? Like I thought I saw that somewhere.
I think so.
Somebody's working.
There's a few.
That's
There's it needs a full overhaul though to work with the. There needs to be sort of like an asynchronous layer to Comfy that's always running, and then we can have stuff that's based on that or stuff that's based on the diffusion run itself. It's kind of like, yeah. It'd be cool to get it, but I don't know if you can just add it as like an add-on or if it has to be rewritten from the core. So it's kind of freaky.
Are you able to create like a, because now that you have like the floor and the back, like are you able to create like a, like if you had a character walking, would you be able to have like the floor kind of like moving as if it's like you know, kind of a scrolling background? Or is that like, or it would just go too crazy with
what I think I would do there is that's a good question. Scrolling is tough. Scrolling and doing that kind of motion is tough, but I think if you might be interesting to try to do something where you follow the, like, take it into After Effects or something and put a square underneath them and then have that sort of platform follow them around to give the sort of depth. See, like a lot of the stuff that you would get that way would actually come from the depth maps. So you're sort of implying what was already happening in the clip with the layers that you have with the thing. And then that's a balancing act. But like actually physically doing it, like I've seen J-Boog do that a few times where it's like he's just going into After Effects and literally making the masks by hand because it's, you know, it's completely deliberate and it's the easiest way for him to do that. So, and I don't even know how you would do that in Comfy, you know, like track something and make something follow it. So,
right.
Definitely something to be said for all the ways that we approach these problems. But we can try and make a little something with this. Let's so we got all this crap. Let's move it up. I'm only going to need like 3 of these outputs by the time we're done here. So let's move our mask stuff way up here and get it out of the way and start fresh real quick. I'm going to speed run this because you guys have seen me do this about 1,000 times. Load checkpoint. I'll do stable realism by stable Yogi LCM version. Sure. Model. We'll skip the LoRa. Let's do AnimateDiff. Loader legacy. We'll use T2V. LCM greater than 1.15. Context options. Looped uniform. 1614 true. Sample settings. We're going to go with actually going to leave it at default for now. Might change that later. We'll see. Okay, after the model, we're going to need some IP adapter nonsense. So we're going to need a unified IP adapter loader and an IP adapter advanced. And we have 3 masks. So let's move those 3 masks right here. So I can go like this, 2, 3. So we can visualize what these masks are doing. And that's red into the attention mask of the first one, green into the attention mask of the second one, blue into the attention mask of the third one. Model goes through the IP adapter chain. IP adapter goes into all 3. 2, 3. We're going to select plus. You can use plus, you can use Vid2Vid, you can use standard. They're all just different types of style transfer. Pick the one you like. Image. So we need a image scale to total pixels. Gonna need 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna set that to about 0.45. That's gonna resize our images to like around 600 pixels ish, hopefully, which is kind of ideal for IP adapters, and it'll make it a square image, but it won't crop it, so IP adapters won't get confused. Image, scale, image in. Image do, image in. All right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we need a K sampler. And we also need a positive and negative prompt. Flip text encode. All right, conditioning positive to here. We're still going to add ControlNet, so we'll need to plug those in later, but let's just keep it simple. 11 steps, CFG of 2, LCM sampler, and the SGM uniform scheduler. Latent image, in this case, can be noise, because we have so much input, we don't need the actual footage as the input. We can do that with ControlNet. Where was I? Right. Okay. So our width and height are going to be determined by the width and height of our project. So let's grab that stuff. I'm going to grab these. Actually, I'm going to grab these 3 and I'm going to move them down with the other settings. Yep. All right. Put all of our settings together here. Because we're using IP adapters and 3 layers of it, I don't need a prompt. I just need basically the word 4K or something like that. And we're going to add NSFW and nude to the negative prompts. Because we are on YouTube. We're going to do a 24 frame animation for brevity's sake. Scoop, 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 scoop. That's all good. K sampler. We're going to need a VAE decoder. I didn't plug the width and height in. Width, height. Our batch size will be determined by, that's right, the frame count of the video. All right. That's all good, and we need one of these. Video combines on the end. And okay, let's do a CRF of 13. We're going to save this output. And we're going to use, I don't know, 3 different images. What do I got? I need like inits. Let's try this. It'll be the background. The floor will be, where's grounds? Do the beach. And then for the person, might as well do me. Why not? Let me just grab that image real quick. PC. Imagine having all your materials ready to stream.
One day Comfy will do that for you.
Yeah, right? Okay, let's try this charming individual right here. All right, cancel. Okay, so our background should be these blobs. The ground should be the beach, and the dancer should be some 40-year-old nerd, ideally. Nope, it won't be because what did I do? Forgot to plug in the VAE decoder. It's pretty impressive. Everything else was okay, though. All right. Boop. So we are about to find out what happens when you only use IPAdapter without any ControlNet influence. Just reading the comments. Everyone likes your work, man.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Taz says those are insane. Remy says fire emoji. AI Warper says that's me. So AI Warper's here. Say hello to AI Warper.
Shout out to AI Warper. There's another YouTuber on here, McMuppets. I keep messing up.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
here. Or he was
McMumpets.
here, maybe. I don't know if he's still here.
Yeah, we love Mick. Mick does some crazy stuff with video to video. Check
Oh
out.
yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, see? The beach is my shirt. I'm in the middle, and there's stuff behind me. This is completely wrong.
Nice. Exactly what
Why
we
is
were
it
expecting.
completely wrong? Yeah, let's try to think about this. Why does this suck so bad? Tension mask. Oh, wait, did I plug the wrong masks? No, they're right. Red, green, blue, right? Red, green, blue. Red, blue, green. Okay, well, let's try ControlNet and see what happens. IPAdapters is like very loose on the, connections unless you reinforce it with some ControlNet. So let's do that. Apply ControlNet, advanced. And I'm going to actually do 2 of them. And I'm going to take the positive and the negative, and I'm going to run them all the way through. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, we got 2 ControlNets. We need to load advanced load depth and advanced load. Let's do line art, and we might add DW pose also, but we might not need it. Okay, now we need preprocessors. For this, I'm going to use Depth Anything version 2. You can download that from the manager, install custom nodes, Depth Anything V2. It's great. Download it and get the models. The model that I like is called Depth Anything V2 VitI or VitL. I can't even tell. I think it's VitI. FP16. That's the one I like. It's the second last one. All right. That image goes in here, and we can also preview that image so we can see what it's doing. In this case, it will be generating a depth map for us from our input footage. How do we do that? We plug our input footage into it. So where is our resized input footage? I think it's way up here. Yep. Let's move that down here and grab you and plug you into, what was I doing? Oh, yes. Depth anything. All right. And we need a realistic line art. We're going to do the same thing here. Image comes from our resized input video. Goes into one of these combines so we can see what it's doing, and it goes into the image input of the ControlNet. Both of these ControlNets are just running at full strength, so if I hit it, it should do a line art of our little guy. We should get a depth map of our little guy. Boop, and now it should try to dream all this stuff into these lines. So basically, it was just kind of painting wildly, but now it knows where the lines are and it knows how to color in between them. So now it's a matter of deciding how strong those lines are. So we can go from this to this, ideally.
So your why per beats do you make beats?
Yes, I was a band leader for drummer and band leader for about 20 years here in Toronto. Hip hop band, stuff like that. And I still produce, but yeah, most of the bands died out during the pandemic because live music's just ain't what it used to be.
I saw a video of you like playing drums just recent. Was that recent?
No, that was before
Okay.
I just came across it on my Instagram the other day. Well, there we go. Perfect. Just as good as Viggle.
Now you can run it again and then get a better output.
Yeah, so now like I can look at it and go, okay, well, it's obviously trying way too hard to stay within the lines. So we start backing the strengths of the control nets off a bit. 0.5, 0.5. 0.5, and strength is how much it tries to exert the strength of the control net. Start percent is when in the run it starts the control net. End percent is when in the run does it stop applying the control net. So you can make it breathe a little bit, dream a little bit outside of the. So yeah, you do have the lines to draw in, but they're a little blurry. So it can kind of mash stuff together and get a little goofier. We like goofy around here. AI Warper says FP32 is better. I did a bunch of comparisons and I found FP32 to be just marginally flickerier. But for stills, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. With depth maps, you want to try to get rid of any flicker. See, that's a lot more like the input stuff. So, you know, back off the control net. We just, god damn, why am I just always thrusting in the air? It's my fault. I keep picking the same video, but yeah, it's whatever. And the other thing you can do is just check and see if your control nets even matter. So bypass, bypass one, see what it does. That's why we're doing 24 frame runs, because I can bang these out real fast, see what it looks like, and then when it's good, we can run the whole animation. But you don't need to run the entire animation when you're doing, iteration, because it's just a waste of time. Because none of these are ready for prime time. Looks like I'm standing on living popcorn.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's really gross. But it's really cool how it mixes the context of the IP adapter with the context of the background of the depth map. Because like if you look at this, you can actually see the room in the GUI stuff. It's yeah. Perfection. So yeah, the line art was actually kind of making things worse. This is actually able to dream a little more. Yeah. And again, this will get better as you upscale it, use higher res, do different things, deep shrink. Deep shrink doesn't play well with ControlNet, but yeah, I guess my bigger point is all this stuff can lead to all kinds of other stuff. And then you can if I really like this, but I hate the background, I can take my little guy, I have the mask, I can composite this onto a new run. I can do a new run that's a completely different background, composite them together right in Comfy. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, man, I don't want to keep you too long. I really appreciate you hanging out and talking through your workflows and stuff, because I really like the way that you don't care what the tool is. You just make the thing. I like that, man. I think this should be more of that run and gun VFX mentality, right? It's only got to be good enough for the shot and move on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm more concerned about the final product. Doesn't matter how I get to it, just figure it out. Like, yeah, just power through learning stuff that I've never learned before, like 3D. Like I'm fairly new to 3D but I've learned so much in the past year.
Yeah. The resources now are wild, right? Like the stuff that's available on YouTube now, you can learn anything. And yeah, I always tell people just go do 2 Blender tutorials every day for a year and a half. You won't believe where you get.
Yeah. Yeah, just putting that time in, and yeah, you get it eventually.
Yeah, I just started Unreal Engine and then I hate it, but it's just because I can't do the things yet. But
yeah,
it's super cool. I just suck at it.
Yeah, I want to learn it as well. I started a tutorial. I watched like one video, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch it later, and I just never got back to it. But it's something on my to-do list for sure. Because I think that there's just so much you can do with that. Yeah,
the in-camera stuff is great.
Yeah, just the fact that you can like use your phone to kind of just kind of as a
camera.
As a camera.
I know it's groundbreaking so cool stuff. It's so great. Do you have anything you want to plug? Do you have anything coming up you want to tell people about? Do you have any projects you've been working on that you're going to announce or anything?
Well, I mean, I guess myself, I do YouTube tutorials, a little bit about different topics. A lot of it has been comfy lately because that's what people like. But I mix it a lot with like traditional tools, like with After Effects and stuff, where I talk about different topics. Like right there, I was talking about Luma, the Dream Machine thing. And then there's a workflow if you guys are interested, because I don't know if you guys wanted to know kind of how I do those videos that Pers was showing earlier. There's that video that says Viggle and ComfyUI, crazy combo. If you're like interested in checking that out, that I go over how kind of the workflow of how I do those kind of videos. But
I
and I
love
think
that, man.
also
I just love to
huh?
see people giving back, man. Like, you know, we don't learn this stuff in a silo, right? Like other people teach us this stuff. It just feels so good to like show the work, you know, show the process. It's great, man. The community appreciates you big time.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate like the love that people show, man, for sure. Um, but yeah, besides that, I am gonna be. They did choose me to be a judge for like Project Odyssey. I don't know if you. I'm
Ooh,
pretty sure
good.
you heard about it.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess that's gonna be happening. Project Odyssey is like something that Civitize kind of leading, um, where people can submit like different AI style projects with like music videos or like 3D to AI and a bunch of different categories you can choose from. Um, so I'm gonna be a judge on that. So definitely, if you are interested in that, go check that out. Um,
That's
but
super cool.
besides that, man, I don't have anything else unless somebody has a question or something. I can try to answer, but if not, yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching the chat. I didn't see any I didn't see any questions, but I'm sure I missed some. People just
That's why I
saying, you
missed some
know,
too.
like it's nice to see this kind of stuff like before diffusion, like all the stuff you can do in Comfy. Outside of diffusion, all the stuff you can do before you even think about doing AI is it's interesting. So that's cool. Yeah. Hopefully everybody makes some cool stuff and tags us and lets us see it. You know, send me stuff you make. I want to see it. We love you guys. Thanks for coming out. And if you want more, you want to do more stuff, come join my Discord and link to the Patreons in the corner always. Everything's on pers.xyz. All the links, all the stuff, my YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Come hang out, come be part of the community. If you have questions about ComfyUI, you have questions about all this stuff, hit the help channel in my Discord. If I'm not there, someone else very knowledgeable will be there to help you. So yeah, and for the love of God, if you have a problem, post a screenshot, please. I'm getting black images doesn't help me at all. I can't do anything for that. We need some indication of what's wrong. We can't tell us what the error is. You know, anything we can go on.
Or just paste the entire code that's like a whole page long and onto the message, and then
yeah. Even that I can at least, you know,
at least you can look at something, right?
I can at least try to figure out what's wrong. But yeah, you know, I have seen it all, but I haven't seen it all, and I don't know exactly why it's broken. So yeah, just provide as much information as you can when you have a problem, and yeah, it's just easier for us to help you when you know, because if I know maybe 2 or 3 things versus the one thing, I can probably get there. But yeah, that's only the only little bit of housekeeping I had. But yeah, appreciate you guys so much, and we'll be back. I'll be back twice next week, I think around Wednesday, and then I'll have another guest next week, I believe, but I don't have my calendar open, so it'll be a surprise. Yes, unpreparedness equals surprises. Thanks again, Enigmatic E, man. I really appreciate it. It's been really awesome talking to you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad that we finally were able to do something together, because I definitely love what you're doing. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's mutual, man. And yeah, thanks for everything you do for the community, and keep kicking, man. We're loving seeing it. And yeah, go follow Enigmatic E. If you're not following him, you are fucking up. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.